Episode 4 begins as Acmetropolis' most famous weather reporter, Misty Breeze, gets bitchy with an intern out on the field as they get ready to go live for a weather report. Said intern, named Paula, doesn't take it well.
I'm Misty Breeze, honey. I do the weather. You, bring the coffee.
Paula has been trying to land an on-camera role for the network, but the producer here thinks that she's still a bit too young and inexperienced to be in front of the camera. After some more abuse from Misty, a small storm cloud inexplicably materializes above her. As she storms off, pun intended, Paula convinces the manager to give her a shot in front of the camera. As she reports on the storm that's brewing overhead, their surroundings get more and more dangerous, which culminates in Paula getting struck by lightning. Rather than killing her, Paula reveals that she has the power to control the weather and blows Misty away in a tornado.
They said I couldn't be on the air. Well, I am now!
Penny. Penny. Penny.
As the storm rages on, we cut to the Loonatics, currently putting a giant satellite dish back together after it snapped off. As it turns out, this was also Duck wouldn't be able to miss Misty's next weather report, as Duck kinda sorta has the hots for her. And wouldn't you know it, Misty lands on the satellite, Duck being sure to catch her when she falls down.
Danger, Duck, at your service, hot stuff.
Thank you. Don't get too close.
As the Loonatics fly away, they begin wondering what happened to Misty prior to her getting flung in their direction. Zadavia informs them that severe worldwide weather is beginning to affect the planet. Noting that this is no normal weather, it's up to the team to investigate this strange phenomenon. Once at the plaza where Misty was broadcasting, the Loonatics save the producer from his overturned van. Once freed, he's at a loss for words about what he just witnessed. That's when Paula reveals herself and conjures up some fog monsters, which immediately get the upper hand. It isn't until Lexi discovers their weakness to water, thanks to a fire hydrant, that the team is able to bounce back. Though she loses this round, she forces the cameraman to broadcast her so she can send a message to all of Acmetropolis.
Hear me, Acmetropolis! I am Weatherbane, and tonight there is a 100% chance of destruction!
Christopher Painter is, as of this writing, the most successful crew member of Loonatics, post-Loonatics. Painter got his start as an executive assistant on Frasier for the show's 8th season. After that, his first writing gig was for the Charlie's Angels-inspired series She Spies. Then really got the ball rolling with 4 episodes of Jimmy Neutron, most notably the episode The Tomorrow Boys. For Loonatics Unleashed, Painter would write 2 episodes, this episode and another one in Season 2. Okay, now comes the fun part. After writing for other shows like Squirrel Boy, Back in the Barnyard, and Tom and Jerry Tales, Painter would get his big break by landing a position at the Walt Disney Company, where he currently serves as the head writer of numerous projects, including, but not limited to, Legend of the Three Caballeros, Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind, Tron Identity, Disney Mirrorverse, and Disney's Dreamlight Valley. As of this writing, his most recent writing credit was for the video game Disney Illusion Island. Since we already discussed Dan Fawcett's credentials, for every repeat writer or director, I'll instead highlight another crew member, starting with Haven Alexander has been a mainstay with Warner Bros. Since the beginning of her career, starting out as a production assistant for Batman the Animated Series. She'd be promoted to an associate producer starting with Freakazoid, then would continue working on Superman the Animated Series, the Zeta Project, and Baby Looney Tunes. Alexander would helm the role of associate producer for the entirety of Lunatics Unleashed's run. After a brief stint producing My Gym Partner's a Monkey, Alexander would transfer from Warner Brothers to Mattel, working on shows like Hot Wheels Battle Force 5 and Monster High, then would transfer again to Hasbro, where she would work on a handful of Equestria Girls TV movies and Littlest Pet Shop and World of Our Own. Her most recent credit is as producer of the Netflix series Blue Eye Samurai. Act 2 opens with Tech reflecting a lightning attack from Weathervane.
Nice lightning rod, Tech. That's definitely gonna earn you some vacation time.
Can I take it right now?
Yeah, one of Tech's powers is being able to regenerate himself after a seemingly deadly encounter. I'll touch on this more in intermission. Weathervane conjures up another tornado, which Ace and Slam quickly escape from. As the big guy gets to work trying to counteract the tornado, the rest of the Lunatics slowly but surely escape the tornado's grasp. Pissed that the Lunatics have bested her weather, she presents an ultimatum. Bring Misty to her, or Acmetropolis floods. Also, she damages a monorail track for the hell of it, which the team saves rather quickly. Then we get this line from one of the passengers.
So, who ordered the Acme Heroes?
Oh, I knew his great-great-great-grandfather.
So is the show trying to say that Granny has somehow managed to live for over 700 years and still has a clear memory of bugs? Like, that's clearly meant to be a Granny voice Candy Milo is going for, right? I know she hasn't taken over the role yet from June, but it's gonna happen eventually. Has medical technology advanced to a point where people's life expectancies have gone up considerably? Or did she somehow time travel to this point in time and somehow knows that Ace is a distant descendant of bugs? Or maybe, just maybe, I'm looking far too deep into a simple throwaway line meant to canonize the fact that the Lunatics are descendants of Looney Tunes characters. The Lunatics plan to surround Weathervane from all parameters, but she vanishes before they can make it up to the roof. Ace suspects something even worse is brewing, which Zadavia confirms as radar indicates a large anomaly is forming off of Acmetropolis' coast. As the team flies off, they notice Duck is missing. Giving him a call, Ace and the rest of the team discover that he's personally going after Weathervane himself as revenge for her insulting Misty. Given this is Duck we're talking about, I'm sure you can deduce how well this pans out.
I am queen of the elements, a weather goddess.
Did you see that coming, Misty hater?
You again?
Haha, fooled you. After being given the business from Duck for far too long, Weathervane pulls a Maleficent and turns herself into a large weather dragon. One commercial break later, and she flies towards Acmetropolis for more death and destruction. After a bit of brainstorming, pun also intended, the Lunatics hatch a plan to lure Weathervane to the hottest place on the planet, an island volcano, with Duck as bait. Once there, Slam throws a giant bomb keg into the volcano to make it erupt. At least that was the plan.
Detonation in 30 seconds.
No, not now, now later!
Even with a much stricter window of time, the Lunatics managed to pull it off, the resulting eruption dissipating Weathervane's dragon form for good. As for Weathervane herself, that remains to be seen. Back in the plaza, Zadavia confirms that the storm has finally ended, but fails short of congratulating the team when Misty shuts off the screen she projected herself on, having learned absolutely nothing from the whole ordeal. Not that that stops Duck from being unable to keep it in his pants, as he interrupts Misty's report with some good old-fashioned non-stop autographing.
How many more of these things do you have? Oh, not many. Just all your posters, all your books, your discarded chewing gum, your 8th grade report card, all your little shaky snow globes with you in that tiny parka. Just the essentials.
Enough! Yeah, maybe we should leave these two lovebirds alone.
Next, your limited edition sweat sock set. I wear them every day.
I feel like this episode has a lot going for it, but falls short of the finish line. Weathervane could have easily made for a good tragic villain. As an intern with high ambitions, you can't help but feel sorry for her when she's dismissed by Misty and told by the producer that he thinks she's too inexperienced to be in front of the camera. Since we aren't shown any proper evidence to the contrary, we as the audience are left to assume that Misty's ego prevents anyone else from being in front of the camera for fear she might get competition, which definitely has happened in real life. As soon as she's struck by lightning and becomes Weathervane, you'd think that she would really give Misty what she had coming by bruising up her ego enough to get her to see just how much her bossiness looks like to other people. But she instead takes it out on Acmetropolis as a whole, which is when the Loonatics have to step in. It reads to me like a retelling of Carrie, but instead of a bucket of pig's blood, it's a lightning strike that enacts the inciting incident. If the Loonatics dragged Misty along to get her to admit her own faults to Weathervane, maybe the team wouldn't have to reactivate a volcano. As it stands, it's still a decent episode, but maybe one that could have gone a better route in the end.